Do you think now you have a choice, or a chance rather, to have another election and actually elect a president, which Hezbollah has been blocking?
Well,
do you think you have a chance to impose the sovereignty or the power or the authority of your own national army, or not?
This is Lebanese internal dynamics, and there is no way that the Israelis could trigger such a dynamic. But for the sake of the country, I know as Lebanese, I want my country to address its chronic challenges. But this is totally different from the war, the aggression that Israel is launching against Lebanon. Actually, it will lead to the opposite direction. It will entrench Hezbollah, it will increase frustration among the population, and it will play to the benefit of whatever Hezbollah has been saying for 40 years, that you see Israel only understand the language of force.
Well, on the other hand, you remember Nasrallah, who's been assassinated, said to the Lebanese people, and he asked for he apologized after 2006, saying that had I known what would have happened when we kidnapped those two Israelis, I think it was a kidnap, in any event, they triggered that war, I wouldn't have done it. He apologized because it created such devastation. And
yeah, but does this justify the devastation?
Well, I'm wondering whether he would have apologized for what he did on October 8th.
I don't
because
know.
Now you guys are suffering the brunt of it.
Yes.
And I just wonder how you think you're going to get out.
But let's not forget why we're suffering. We're suffering because we have an invasion launched by the Israelis against Lebanon. And again, it's totally pointless, absurd, and useless, besides being brutal and violent, because the post-war arrangements already exist, and they have been on the table since...
But do you think they were working?
They were working. Well, 2006, 2023... always there is a room to do better. But they also have to respect this resolution. It needs to be reciprocal. And we said we would be ready to address their concerns. But I'm afraid it's not about their northern population. This is a pretext, as they did in Gaza, as they do everywhere. They just take a false pretext in order to launch, and they've said it, they want to change the strategic paradigm in the region. So,
Iran... Yeah. Lebanon,
so
Gaza,
that's totally
and the West
destabilizing for the region.
Do you think there's any chance? I mean, you might not like it, but do you think there's any chance that this war will actually defang these, whatever you want to call them, militias, militants?
I'm afraid it could lead to the opposite outcome. The way we Lebanese would want to deal down the line with this, call it unconventional situation, is in an inclusive Lebanese context, but you need to address their grievances. And Israel has been doing everything to make our argument harder and harder with them. When they tell us, what do you intend to do, you Lebanese government, with the occupation in the south? What do you want to do with the overflights? What can we tell them? We need to have cooperation from all parties in order to be able to address
sorry, when
this
who tells
situation.
you that? When who says what do you intend to do?
When the militias or the non-state actors you're referring to. So it needs to be addressed in an inclusive Lebanese context in due course, but this has nothing to do with the Israeli aggression. The Israeli aggression will lead to the opposite dynamic being encouraged. Down the line, we would need to deal with it. But this is a sideshow. The Israelis are masters of creating a collateral distraction from the essence of the problem. The essence of the problem is occupation. The essence of the problem is a brutal and violent act against Lebanon, against Gaza, against now I don't know where they will end up. We were talking about a ceasefire in Gaza. Now we're talking about two ceasefires. We have Gaza and Lebanon. Soon, maybe we would be talking about a third ceasefire. So it's time to reverse the trend. As I said, we in the Lebanese government, we don't want this war, and we would be ready to cooperate in order to address the concerns. According to this 1701, we have a UN peacekeeping force. We already started the preparation for enlisting 1,500 soldiers, additional soldiers, to send to the south. And that, I think, is conducive for a sustainable solution, but the Israelis have chosen a different path. They now want to change the whole strategic paradigm in the Middle East, and that's totally destabilizing.
Ambassador, thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
being
Christian.
with us.
Thank you.
Lebanon's ambassador to the UK.
Thank you.